Right then, we've had a bit of luck here. I've just been over to see Peter with the clock, and I was right with what I said. It is a fuse workings inside, and there isn't actually anything wrong with it, thank goodness. Where Ben very kindly made up that stand for us to film it and set it up, that was perfect, what we should have done. But you can move the clock. Let's say it's like that. Apparently you can move the clock a little bit that way and a little bit that way, and the clock will stop, as it has just done. I also thought when I first went to put the winder in that maybe it had been overwound, but not being knowledgeable about clocks, I kept my mouth shut. But if you remember, it only did about 3/4 of a turn, and my heart sank at that moment because I thought this has been overwound, so it's strained. However, with a fuse mechanism, you can't overwind them. You just wind them up and then they stop, and then you set them going once you've got them level, and it's working now. So there wasn't anything wrong with the winder itself or the mechanism. It was just the fact that I hadn't set it up perfectly in position for the mechanism to work efficiently. So there is nothing that needs doing to the workings inside. I mean, he said it could do with a little bit of oiling, which I may well do at the end of this filming. But cut a long story short, it ain't broke, so don't mend it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the face down, but not until I've started cleaning all the woodwork down. You can see underneath here that, just there, that there is a catch. Well, there's actually a lock there as well. It's a two lever lock that hasn't been opened for many a year, and I think somebody's put this catch on to keep this door from dropping open like that at a later date. So without further ado, I think I'd better get on with some of this woodwork restoration first. It is crusty, to say the least. So what I'm going to do is make up my own mix of restoration liquid. Here I almost think it's been hot. The French polish, it's kind of shaled and it's got like an oily hue to it, and that normally comes from when something's been very hot. So this was in a kitchen, so it may well have been near a cooker. In fact, it was in the opposite room to the cooker, so heat going up. Anyway, it's been hot, but only in that position down there. Let's get going and give it a bit of a clean. So I'm going to make my own mix up. I find it easier that way because if you can buy revivers, or you can buy neat methylated spirits, all manner of things, but I always mix my own up because I can make it more potent or less potent depending on what I'm doing. This isn't going to be very potent at all, because what I'm going to try and do, you've heard of patina. Well, patina, is generally speaking, is muck, and when patina is polished and really shiny, that's polished muck. So grease off your hands, muck that goes on the top, it builds up a layer, and that's called patina. Apparently you can buy it in a tin now, but never tried it, don't know what it's like. Maybe we'll have a go sometime. The methylated spirits I'm going to mix just a small amount, you don't need a lot, and I always go by eye. I never go by actual sharp measurements as such. This is linseed oil, if I can get the lid off, and I don't put much in it, and all this is a little bit of a lubricant, and it helps the movement of the rest of the old polish and patina around the surface, and it also slows down the grab of the methylated spirits. And what I also do is, this is just white spirit. I don't use terps so much these days. It's got a little bit of an oily hue to it, and it will often sort of sit there after you've finished the clean. Then if you put any more polish on top, it won't reject it, but I can see it through the surface, so I don't do it too much. Let's give that a little bit of a mix up. You'll see that the colour of the methylated spirits is purple, and it's just thinned it down a little bit. And at the first stage of cleaning, I don't go too mad with what cloths they use and all the rest of it. Always cotton, never ever anything other than cotton. When you get onto polishing and that kind of thing, you've got to have lint free so that you're not leaving little bits of cotton in the surface. So let's start off by, I always take the front edge of this off so that I'm dipping in and being able to see what I'm doing. Charge the actual rubber, for want of a better word, and then just start applying it. Now I don't really want to get this on the face of the clock at all, and equally I don't want to get too much on there, because if you think about where the clock was hanging on the wall, there won't be any muck sitting on that bottom plate because you're looking up at it. I've never seen muck go up that way. So let's see about getting this cleaned. And it's already starting to come off, but it's not actually stripping the French polish. If I see that, there's quite a lot of muck on that. So you just keep going round. Just don't get it on the face of the clock. Let's keep the clock face kind of honest and not have to do too many repairs on it. Incidentally, here's something for you. When you see marks around the face like that, I'll turn this up so that you can see. If you look on there, can you see those rings that are around there? And Peter was telling me that that's when somebody has taken the hands off and take the workings out, and this little screw here you can tighten up too much, and then it presses that down onto the hand down onto the face. And he said over a period of time it doesn't look like it's touching, but he said it'll start to create that mark. So it's been adjusted back so that it doesn't do it anymore, and so it shouldn't mark up the face anymore either. So we're just going to keep going round. You'll see how careful I'm being up to the edge of this clock face. He said I could take this clock face out and all the workings. He'd show me how to do it. There are 3 pins on the back of, for one, like studs that go all the way through the workings, and there's a slide pin that goes in and out of them. You pull those pins out, then the front face can come off from the workings, and you can then work on the woodwork without the face on it. But because of the way I've started with this clock and how I thought that I'd bought a pup, I'm not going to tempt fate. Peter has said that when I set it up overnight to run, if it doesn't run, he's willing to come over and get it going for me. But I've been to his house and he said nothing wrong with it. So let's call it driver error on my part. So you'll see now, look at all this muck that's coming off. I'm beginning to see some nice mahogany coming through on this. One of the reasons that we use methylated spirits is because it's a great carrier for French polish, but it's also a stripper. So you've got to be very, very careful how you use it. And what I'm doing here is I'm removing some of the French polish, but also I'm actually reactivating the French polish and the patina that's left on from years of dirt. I'm actually reactivating it so that it creates a new surface. It might seem a bit odd, why would you want to create muck into a new surface? But that is all about keeping the age of the clock honest. I mean, I could make this look like treacle and some people would absolutely love it, but I'm not a treacle French polish fan. I always like to think of, yeah, if you'd got that in your house, would you really want it glaring at you? And the answer is no, you wouldn't. If you want something glaring at you, you buy something that's lacquered with a modern pre-catalysed or acid catalysed lacquer. French polish is just such a natural natural material, you know, let's get the best out of it. Now where I go up to the edge of the face of the clock, I'm not doing too much rubbing. What I'm trying to do here, because I said to you at the bottom of the clock it actually looks like it's been hot, I'm trying to move some of this from this half of the clock, the dirt and the muck and the polish, back over the top so that I don't actually have to French polish it. That's my aim with this piece. I don't want to get the French polish brushes, mops or anything out on this. I just want to keep it as true to its age as it is. These pegs, now, these were probably only made within the last 20 years, and we both thought that they're actually oak and they've been nicely turned, but we've got one missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn another 4 because they should be in mahogany and they should be kind of out of sight a little bit. You see, these are quite obvious when I can find them. They're quite obvious when you look at the side of the clock, quite bright. They should actually be, the pegs should be as dark as that. So I'm going to make some up in mahogany, turn them on the lathe over here, and then put them in place of those and stain them dark, rub a load of muck into them so that they don't, your eye isn't attracted straight to them, which, to be honest, that one is a little bit. So there we are. I'm going to leave that at that. Come back and have another go at it tomorrow when it's had chance to dry out and set again, because as I said, I've reactivated that French polish, so I want that to harden again. So tomorrow we'll be doing the face, the glass and the bezel, and then waxing it, and then we'll get onto a bit of turning. But now I'm going to set this up on that stand that Ben's made for me, so that we can leave it running overnight and hopefully find out what time it's keeping. So thanks for looking. Be back tomorrow. Hey everybody, back again. Well, I've got good news. The clock is working a treat. It had stopped when I came in this morning, and I kind of expected it to have done so, to be honest with you. I've just wound it back up again, and as I said earlier in the show, that when I first got the clock and I put the key in it, if you remember, it only turned about 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn. Well, I've just wound it up again, and it's just taken 4 turns. So fingers crossed that was almost a full wind. I hadn't set the pendulum going, so I've just taken the pendulum off, and it's just ticking away like a good one. Don't know whether you can hear that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the clock off its stand, lay it on its back, and then start cleaning the face of the actual face of the clock here, but also the bezel and the glass. Now I'm going to do the bezel and the glass in a different way to the actual clock face. I've got some warm water in a bowl for the bezel and glass, which I'll bring into shot, and then I've got some ammonia here. You don't need very much ammonia, so if I pour 1/2 a capful into there, this is just lukewarm water with a tiny little bit of washing up liquid in it. Swirl that round a little bit. But first off, what I'm going to do is, if I bring the bezel into shot, I would quite like to have had this submerged in tepid water with a bit of fairy liquid in it, or detergent of some sort, because it's the edge around here, it's not touchy vision, so you can't feel what I'm doing, but it's very crusty, and for some reason clocks, wall clocks and picture frames attract flies and then muck like I don't know what, and this is absolutely covered in fly muck. So what I'm going to do, you've got to be a bit careful here. When you've got glass that's in a frame, you could have the chance of the glass expanding and cracking if it was tight in the frame. However, this is loose in the bezel, not very loose, but I'm not worried about it cracking as it gets put in the water. So I'm just going to immerse it slightly in so that it keeps it wet, and I'll keep turning this while I'm doing other jobs, so that there's a bit of detergent on the brassware and on the glass, and I don't have to scrub so much all in one go. So I'll just leave that like that for a minute. Time to take the clock off the stand. I'm also pleased at the way that the actual perimeter that I, let's say, rejuvenated the other day, because I've had a weekend off, it's worked really well, and this is just going to take a wax to finish it off. Wandering around behind the camera where you can't see is my son Ben, and he's got hold of our recently acquired pup, and for name purposes I'll call him Dude. That's not his real name, but if you hear all this scampering around, because he's going to have to put him down eventually. he's trying to get away now. Anyway, that if you hear this pitter patter, it's Dude running around. So let's start on the clock face. Try and pull this over here. It only wants to be damp, and I'm going to go in small circular motions. I'm not scrubbing at all. I would rather use cotton. I've got to be honest, I'd rather use cotton wool on this than this soft rag. I can't find the cotton wool, and I'm not using a cotton bud to do the whole face of this. It's not that, it's not, I just haven't got time to do that. So I'm just going to clean this up like this. Moisten the surface. Keep the ammonia away from the French polish. You'll see there, look, the muck that's starting to come off. This will be quite time consuming. So if you get to sleep, I can understand why. If you're wondering why we're putting this out on Christmas Day at 4 o'clock, we just don't want to take any viewers away from the King's speech. So that's why we've put it on at 4 o'clock. See how much is coming off it, look. Go on, mate, let the hound loose and see what he does. What's up? Hey, what's the matter? Oh, hello. Hello. You want to be in shot, do you? Hey? You want to be in shot, dude? Hey? Do you want to come up in shot? Is that what it is? Come on then, here's your debut. Come on, turn around the other way. I don't want that end. Come on, there we go. Here he is, look. You don't know what all the fuss is about, do you? Hey? It's a clock. Hey?
I can tell time.
You tell time. I don't want my nose clean. I don't want my ears clean. No, off you go. We had another lovely little dog that was head of security for 13 years, and sadly he passed away this year, and his name was Freddie, known by everybody up where this workshop is. But if you've ever had a dog, it's difficult to not have a dog, and we were about 3 months before we got another one, but this is the new addition. And I won't say his name on camera. I'm a bit funny about anybody that wants to nick your dog. So yeah, anyway, we call it up here, we call him Dude. My son's also got a dog, and it's a 1-year-old Rottweiler pup, bitch, and he was going to bring her up today, but it's when they're up here it's absolute carnage, so you wouldn't hear anything of what we're saying because it's just like a big racetrack all the way around here. So anyway, back to this clock face. It is cleaning up, but this is going to be quite a time consuming operation, I think. I don't want to make the liquid any stronger than it is. I'd rather be patient with it and not have to do clock face restoration. I'd rather just be cleaning. So if this gets a little bit boring or we have to put this on fast speed, you know why. It's like having a little baby again, isn't it? Hey? Hey? It's like having a little baby again. You're making my arm ache, dude. I think because of the amount of time that this is going to take, I may well be an hour or so cleaning this up. So I'm going to put him down, carry on with this, and I'll come back to you in a little while, and hopefully this will all be cleaned and we can start with the wood turning of those little buttons that connect the back to the face. So I'll see you again in a bit. You can go down on the floor, mate. Okay.